Look at you guys. Welcome to the studio. Come on in. All right. Welcome to the studio and Color Me Happy. And I'm Michelle.
And I'm Linda.
And we are delighted for you to join us. So Linda, do you want to start?
Sure. I am excited about all things nature related. And it's really fun in the dye studio when you get to try a new dye material that you've never tried before.
Yeah.
And we recently just tried a new dye material and I absolutely love the color that we got from it. And it's special because my dad helped me get this. My dad is 89, but we were looking for a special kind of tree called osage orange, which you don't find around so much anymore. It's very stiff, very hard wood. It used to be used for hedges, and it used to be used to make bows, like in bow and arrow, because you could pull against it and it doesn't flex very much. So that's relevant because when my dad finally found a branch for us, it was very hard to turn it into sawdust. And my husband had to use a circular saw and get us a lot of sawdust, which he did. It was very nice of him. So this is what the sawdust looks like. It doesn't really look like anything too unusual in terms of sawdust. Right. But it makes these beautiful orange colors. And so we got to try it out. Here's the main orange color that it makes. And then because there was so much color left in the dye bath, we call those exhaust baths. We did 2 more skeins. And so, yeah, you can see the dark one here was the first one. This was the second one. And this was the third time that we used it. And it just made such a warm, rich, yellowy orange that, and I have a project that I'm planning to start next month that needs an orange in it. That's one of the colors in the project. And so I'm excited to dye one of our full-size skeins and see if we get this same lovely color.
Are you going to use this color?
That color,
yes. The full osage.
This has kind of a southwest look to it. So it's got like a brown and an orange and a turquoise. And so I want this nice, really rich orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I'm so excited.
So that was really fun. And, you know, thinking about, what if we put a little walnut with it? What if we put a little marigold or weld, or what if we did it with copper? You know, just thinking about all the different shades we might be able to get with that. And it's local since it's a tree from around here. And if we can find more, we can make more sawdust.
Yeah. And I bought a few.
Right.
So we planted them.
We planted some baby osage orange trees this fall. So
yeah,
in another 10 years, maybe we'll have our own osage branches right from the studio and we won't have to forage them.
Yeah, that's true. I remember as a kid seeing those big hedge apples or something.
Yeah, hedge apple is the other name for osage orange because it was used to make hedges, and then it makes these green appley.
Yeah,
the surface looks like the brain. It's bumpy.
Yeah.
They're very interesting, and the dye doesn't come from there. It comes from the wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was really exciting. I'm glad it's been sitting around. I've been wanting to try it, and finally last week we had some time and we tried it out.
Yeah. It was a fun day to see.
What about you?
Colors.
What are you excited about?
So I'm excited. I'm always excited at the holidays. I get to see the kids and we all open presents and things. But we have our own presents that came.
Oh.
And I started to open and I thought, I'll wait till we're filming. So these are from some of our sample knitters.
Sample knitters are the best.
Yes. So these are from Debbie.
Oh my gosh.
Debbie got a new sock machine. So the yellow she puts on between the samples for us. Holy cow. So I was trying different ways of applying the color for our hand painting class.
Right. When we do the hand painting classes, everyone wants to know, well, if I do it this way, what's it going to look like?
Right. Is it going to make stripes or is it going to make splotches or whatever? And so these are different ways. that the color was applied.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that is so cool. And this one, I saw this one in a photograph Debbie sent us, but the other ones, oh wow. And then this, I can make actual socks out of. I could make a couple pairs of socks out of this.
So that's one where it was more speckled and less like blocks of color applied.
Right. This one was very speckly. In fact, I think this was one of our zero waste.
Oh, really?
Where we used leftover dye materials and just splotched it on there without a real pattern. Yeah, that's fun. Well, thanks, Debbie. This is exciting. So that was one.
That's very exciting. Are you going to make socks out of the one, or are you going to use it to show people as a sample?
Oh, the long one? I think I should make socks.
I think you should too.
Or maybe little
mitts.
Which is the next thing. This one is from Megan.
Megan has test knit several things for us.
A lot of things for us.
Megan is a very good knitter and a very speedy knitter.
Oh my gosh. Look at these.
These are beautiful.
These are little mitts that she made. Oh.
Okay, we each get to put one on.
Okay. And this is in our pure merino fingering.
Oh my gosh, these feel wonderful. This is, fingering pure merino. Look at that.
Beautiful. Megan, that's awesome.
Megan, you did a great job as always. They're so light.
I know. They're
but you can tell they would be warm because they're pure merino wool, but they are really light and lovely.
Oh, this is so exciting. And I'll look up the pattern name because I can't remember. She chose the pattern that she wanted to make, so and then I just sent her some stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what I'm excited.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So we had another viewer question this week.
Great.
And this time they were asking us to talk about the sources of our yarn. And I thought maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
So, when we first started out, which has just only been a year and a half or so ago, we sourced most of our wool from an online company that sells all kinds of bases to indie dyers. It's called Wool to Dye For.
They're in Virginia.
Yeah. They've had really great service, I have to say. They respond right away. Like, we have not been disappointed at all. They are very, very good service and a wide range of bases and weights and everything like that. So that is where we still source our superwash merino cashmere nylon, both DK and fingering, and our DK merino silk, and our flaxen base, which is our linen alpaca silk base.
Right.
And so they have been wonderful and have lots of different bases even than the ones I just mentioned. But it has always been our goal, since we care about nature and sustainability, our goal, if we could do it and wave a magic wand, we would get all of our yarn from local farmers, and we would support local shepherds and local farms and local mills. There's a concept called the fiber shed, which we're really interested in, and where we live, there's not been a lot of activity yet, but in some parts, eastern and western United States, there's more of a concept growing about the fiber shed, where a mill is kind of the heart of the fiber shed, and the farmers that live around there can sell their mill to the mill, who spins it into yarn, and then indie dyers can get it to dye, and you have this whole economy created around your geographic place. And with natural dyes, even more so, you could dye your yarn then with materials from your own place and have a truly local product. So that's always been our dream. And we were able to do a little bit of that last year. We met Ty and Lindsay from Red Hill Fiber Mill, and they're in southern Indiana, way down south from us, where we are in central Indiana. But they are wonderful small mill owners, and they are able to get pure merino, non-superwash merino, from the Kentucky Wool Pool. So we know it's regional pure merino wool, and they spin that for us. We now have, we call it our pure merino line, and we have had 4 weights of that. We've had Aran, DK, Sport, and fingering weight.
Yeah, and these are the ones from Megan were in the fingering.
Yes, exactly. So that has been a really wonderful collaboration, and we really enjoy being able to sell yarn that is at least regional, that's supporting regional farmers, and that's supporting a small fiber mill in our own state. So that is really exciting.
Here we are at Red Hill Fiber. Let's go inside. Oh, look at all their yarn. It's just beautiful. Hey, Lindsay.
Hey, come on in.
All right. So excited to be here. Oh, look. There's our Color Me Happy Pure Merino waiting for us to pick up. And there's Ty.
Howdy.
Hey.
Welcome to our humble disaster.
What is going on today?
Whole bunch of wool going through the carder.
All right, so we're going to watch a little Shetland go through the carder. Let's see. Ooh, fluffy.
Best we can.
So it comes out of the carder like that.
Yeah, and then I rewashed it.
And this is your washing.
So this is what I rewashed this morning. See the color difference? It's the same fleece. So
Wow.
this hasn't been washed. I've been washing it as I've been. So all these four have all been washed.
Okay.
So they'll be clean. When I put them back through, when it comes out, there won't be any vegetable matter in it now. So this is stuff that's ready to be carded.
And what kind is this?
Shetland.
This is where you wash.
So they're 120 gallon pots. And then they have 80,000 BTU burners under here.
Okay, question for me and Linda. Should we ever invest in something like this, or is this crazy?
How much yarn do you want to make?
Well, we want to do it more efficiently than we're doing now. We can only do 4 to 5 skeins at a time.
What do you think? 20 pounds in there, easy? Then you go from here, and once you get it carded, you'll slide this little guy up, which you guys have seen in the other mill.
Yeah.
You slide this roving deck up, it goes under here.
Oh, this is the actual comb.
It's a pin draft comb.
A pin drafter. Okay.
So it makes semi-comb top. Like this is wool roving, alright? Your fibers are going every which way,
Right.
right?
That's
so when you
carded.
draw frame that, you never align those fibers.
Right.
So you're always going to get lumpy yarn, and you're always going to get real hairy looking yarn because none of those fibers have been combed. So the difference is,
Once it goes through the comb.
once it goes through the comb, it comes out like this, and all your fibers are going, they're all aligned. So you get less halo, less hairy yarn, and you get a better draft.
Right. So it'll be smoother and more consistent when it comes out. And that is made on this machine.
Yeah, so the first time you put, so when we make roving, we'll take 6 of these essentially, and we'll run them up and through and draft them, and then, you know, we actually pass it twice. And they're 22 pins per inch,
Oh, wow.
and that's too fine for that big, thick comb top.
For the comb
So
top.
because they're really fragile, where these are ginormous.
Oh, yeah. So this one's alpaca
Yep, and this is wool.
wool.
Yep.
So what's this machine do, Ty?
This is our spin frame, and right now we're spinning an 85-15 Polworth silk. So
Okay.
we're spinning singles, and then once the singles are done, this is going to be a 3-ply. So it is a test sample. That's why we're not running all the way across. We're just going to run out, 3 or 4 skeins for them so they can do some dye testing on it and make sure they like it, and then we'll go through and just pump bobbins full. So. feel it. Like you can feel the silk in it. And it's a non-superwash.
Hi. Hi, buddy. Yeah, look at you. How pretty you are. Yeah. Look at you. I know, you're just gorgeous. Yeah. What's her name? Nola. Okay.
Our barn is such a mess since we've been traveling so much.
Hi, kitties. Hi. Oh, a baby kitten.
That's carrot cake, and then that's Blippi, and then the baby is Blippi too. Hi, boys.
Hi, Nola. Hi, Nola. I was still with dog. Hi.
They'll probably all come up to say hello.
Okay. Hello. Look at you guys.
Come here, Nola. Nola, come.
Hi. Hello, alpaca friends. Your nose looks so soft. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Hi.
One thing is that superwash, which is, it's been chemically treated so that it doesn't felt, and it has advantages, especially if you're knitting baby things or you're knitting socks that you want to be able to throw in the washer and dryer. But it is not a truly natural product, and it takes the dyes differently because of the way it's been treated. So we have, here is our pure merino, and this is one of our most popular colorways that we call Monet's Garden. So it's got greens and blues and yellows in it. And then here's that same dye material, same technique on a skein of superwash. And you can see the colors are just a little more intense. And they also, they strike a little more. They stay where they're placed, whereas in the pure merino, they diffuse out, they spread out a little bit. So you get kind of softer colors, more muted, more blending in the non-superwash pure merino than you do in the superwash. So when you're looking at yarns, and whether they're dyed with chemical dyes or natural dyes, just know that the quality and the way the yarn has been treated before might change the way some of the colors take up. But we are always looking for more local sources of yarn. And one of the things that we're really, really excited about for 2024 is that we did find a local source, and we will be able to launch a line of cormo, very fine wool, much like merino, that is, the farm is located only about 10 miles from our studio. So we'll have a truly local farmer. You can go to the farm and visit the cormo sheep if you want to, and it will have been spun in Indiana and dyed naturally by us here. So a truly local product that will be coming out next year. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think they're going to start processing it in January. So maybe by the spring wool shows.
Greencastle Wool Show.
Yeah,
that's the first one.
That's
usually
our first
in
one.
April. It's usually our first one. So
Yeah.
we'll be trying to get that ready for as soon as we can, because we're excited to have a really local product. So thanks for that question. I think it's a really great question, and I love it that that you're thinking so much about where are these things coming from. I think we would all be doing a better job for ourselves and the world around us if we were thinking about, like, where did these things come from when we purchase them.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Great. We have some video footage of an experiment that we did, and we are part of a monthly naturally dyed wool community, which is led by Jean Haley, our mentor and friend. And in that group, we were doing some experiments with reds. So getting ready for the holidays, a lot of times people are thinking about cranberry colors or different kinds of reds. And so in today's episode, I'll cut away to a set of experiments that we were looking at lac, which is one way to get red.
What is lac?
Lac comes from secretions from the bug Lacca kerria.
I think that's right.
Lacca kerria.
So it's an insect dye.
It's an insect dye. So sometimes people think natural dyes mean all plants, but there are a couple of insect dyes. One is this lac dye, another one is cochineal.
Both of which make red.
Yeah.
It's interesting that if you really want to get reds, you can do it from plants, but it's harder and it's not quite as much of a pure red as you can get from the insect dyes.
Right. There's a really good book, In Search of the Perfect Red or In Search of Red. I will put the title up here. But it's a really interesting book. It's more about cochineal, but it does talk a little bit about lac and the search for wanting to have a good red color. And we can use madder.
Madder is the plant
form, but that's more of a brick color. So, so anyway, so the experiment is about lac, and some of the sources say that when you use the lac extract, that you should put vinegar in there, or some kind of citric acid because it likes an acidic environment. But we know from many of our other dyes that when you put, you change the pH level and get it more acidic, it can change the colors. And so we weren't sure whether you actually need the vinegar or the citric acid in the process. And if so, would it change things? And so the lac experiment, we will cut away here to the experiment so you can see how these were made and how they're different.
Great.
Okay. So I'm getting ready to set up an experiment, and I'm going to have six conditions. So we're doing regular extraction for 2 grams, 2, 4, 6, 8 grams of lac coming up. Okay, so now I am in our little measuring space, and I'm going to measure my 8 grams. And I always wear a mask when I'm using extract. I try to get as close as possible. Okay, close enough. Sometimes it changes when you put it down. Okay, so I'm going to put my lac in with some hot water. Okay, so now we're going to strain this and also measure it so that I can divide it by 4 later, evenly across my 4 of my 6 conditions. We're going to use this for something else later. These 4 jars have to have the same amount in them. Now I'm going to fill these So they're about the same amount of water. The amount of water really should not matter. What matters is the weight of fiber, the ratio of the dye stuff to your fiber. But in this case, we are going to be looking at the pH values too, and those will be affected by water. So I'm not making them exact, I'm just getting them close. Now you can already see I did a different extraction method. The color looks a little different already. Now these, I want to change the acid level, so we're going to add vinegar to make the pH level go down. So first I'm going to put a little bit of water. I've got my fancy pH meter. Okay, now this one was extracted in vinegar. Let's see what that is. That says it's 4.5. So I'm gonna mark that. Okay, my 6 conditions are ready to go. So now we put them in our little pot to cook. Okay, hi, here we are the next day, and I'm gonna get those red jars out and see what happened to the experiment. Okay, this one. Ooh, look at that red. Oops. Trying to keep as much in there because I'm going to be able to use the exhaust, and it might look a little pinkish. Okay, so there's number 1. This was the same extraction as this, but adding vinegar to the jar after. It looks a little deeper to me. And this one is the same as this, but I added the vinegar at a different time. And it looks pretty similar, doesn't it? And now these had a different pre-mordant treatment, so they should look purple. And voila, they do. Such a nice plummy color. Okay, and this one had the vinegar added in the jar. So it's a little bit darker, kind of like the same difference between those two to these two. This was adding the vinegar during the extraction process. Here are all 6 conditions right after the experiment, and here they are washed and dried. All right, let's take a closer look. So these 3 were alumed, and these 3 had copper as the pre-mordant. So the biggest difference you can tell immediately is with the alumed skeins. If you don't have any vinegar at all, it is a much lighter color. So it's almost as if the vinegar helps the lac adhere better. More of the material gets affixed to the fibers. And then with the copper as the pre-mordant, we see the same. It's a little more nuanced, I think. This is without any vinegar or any acid added. And this is when the acid was added either during the extraction or after. So back to our research questions. In acidic environment, lac does tend to adhere better and results in a richer, kind of deeper color. The timing of the acid didn't seem to matter. We added it when we were extracting the color with the hot water at the very beginning, or adding the acid to the jars when we were heating the yarn. So what's in your project bag, Linda?
Well, it's very close to Christmas as we're filming this.
That's right. This may be released on Christmas Eve. I'm not sure.
Okay.
The Sunday, I was trying to make them 1 month apart on like the last Sunday.
That'll be Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it
Or
would be
New
New
Year's
Year's
Eve.
Eve.
But
That's
if we
true.
keep it on the 4th Sunday, I was going to try to get it out this week anyway. Okay.
So I have been knitting gifts for
Mhm.
Christmas. That's the main thing I've been working on right now. So I did finish a hat for my husband who will not be watching, so I can show it. And I'm really happy with it. This pattern was designed by our friend Nicole, and on Instagram she is
Common Thread.
on Instagram she is Common Thread Fiber, or just Common Thread?
Common Thread Fibers. Fiber Arts, maybe? No,
Yeah.
Common Thread Fibers.
Common Thread Fiber, I think.
We'll put it in there.
And a lot of her patterns are themed around Lord of the Rings, which I love. And so this is called the Hat for Thorin. And I had to modify it a little bit because I knit it in a DK. This was dyed with Coreopsis, and my husband really likes orange. So hopefully this is going to be a nice warm hat for walking our dogs. I still have one end to weave in.
Okay.
But I had to modify the pattern because her pattern was written in a sport weight yarn and a little bit more slouchy, and he is not a fan of slouchy hats. So hopefully it all fits well and he will like it, and if not, I will wear it.
Yeah.
And
So
then
cute.
I have been knitting some bandanas, and so the scarf that I'm wearing is called Make Your Marl Shawl by Susan Ashcroft. Her Instagram is Stitch Nerd, and I really liked this shawl. It's kind of a nice lacy pattern, and I held a sock weight yarn, and in this shawl I held a mohair blend yarn dyed by a Verb for Keeping Warm, who are natural dyers in Oakland, California. And the sock weight yarn I had dyed with the common reed from my pond, which made kind of this really bright yellowy green. And I used a darker green to kind of soften it. So the whole idea with the Make Your Marl Shawl is you hold two things together and you can sort of make a marled or a shifted color pattern. But I liked this pattern a lot, and for just $1 or $2 more, you could also get a bandana pattern. So I did that, and I made bandanas for people for Christmas.
Okay.
So I made,
Like my Tromso hat that I made a
Yes.
whole set of. You made a whole set.
I
of
did
these.
make a set of these. So I made a purple one.
I love that.
So that one is a purple mini skeins. I used 3 20-gram mini skeins and did not take all of them. Held with kind of a really light lilac Surrey silk. So our Surrey silk that we've been raving about all fall and using in the Tromso hat and everything, I held the same color Surrey silk actually with all 3 of these. And then I made kind of a dusty rose one.
Are you sure you want to give this away?
I do, but I'll make you one for later, just not for Christmas. How about that?
Okay.
I could make
myself one.
You
But they're
could.
so light.
This is a dusty rose one, so I really like that color also. And then I made a very nice light, almost like ballet slipper pink. So that was a pink one. I haven't finished that one. I just bound off, so I need to weave ends in. All you do with this is you knit it this way, you sew up the back seam like so, and then you've got a nice little bandana that you can wear like that. Super easy.
Cute. Yeah.
Yeah, so this one's actually from my mom, so
Oh.
I see her on Saturday, so I have to actually block it and get that ready to go for Saturday. Just a few days. So you may notice that these do look slightly different. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was knitting and thinking I was so proud of myself because I had knit this pattern before and I didn't really have to pay very much attention. And I realized when I was making this purple one that on the wrong side, you are supposed to purl on the wrong side, but I was knitting on the wrong side. And so the lace pattern is a little bit different. Like here, the lace pattern is in the stockinette stripes. And here, the lace pattern is not in the stockinette stripes. It's in the reverse stockinette. So I was going to ask you, Michelle. So now I've done it two ways, and I have a preference for one of them. And I was going to ask you if you had a preference. This one I knit the correct way. So
Okay.
the little lace, diagonal lace is in the...
That looks like stockinette.
Yes,
That's
it's in the stockinette. And here, the lace is not in the stockinette. So it makes the lace a little bit less noticeable because it's in the reverse stockinette
Yeah.
bumpy section.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference?
I don't know. I'd have to look at them like. Well, this is darker too,
Mm-hmm.
so it does.
Yeah, here's one
Blend
that's, these
in.
are more alike because this is
Yeah.
the rosy one and it is also knit not the pattern way.
I think the pattern stands out more in this, and this it's more subtle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found that I actually like it the wrong way. Because I kind of like that your eye is drawn more to the vertical stripes.
Rather than the lace.
And the lace, I find in this pattern, the lace, it does catch your eye more. Here, your eye goes down the stripes and I don't know, it has more movement or something. I like it both ways, but I think maybe in the future when I knit it, I will do it the incorrect way, which is also faster because then you can just knit on the wrong side instead of purl.
Okay.
But either way, it makes a lovely, super, super soft cowl.
Yeah, they're
with,
so squishy. So
Yeah,
nice.
really a small amount of yarn and very fast to knit up. And so I have been really happy with them and I hope my family will be too.
Yeah.
How about you? What is in your project bag?
Well, I have one that is close to a finished, well, not close, that close. The knitting part is done. Oh, I think it's called the Daisy. It's a baby cardigan.
Oh, another baby sweater.
Yes, this is for a person who was a student of mine and is now on her own professional career, no longer in student status, but she is having her first child.
Aww.
And I wanted to try the embroidery on knits that
Yes.
everyone's doing. And so this has, I haven't blocked it yet, so it's kind of folding in. I'm going to do the little, it's got little daisy flowers down here.
Down in the corners. Oh,
Yeah.
That'll be beautiful. What color are you going to use?
I am not sure. I was thinking about taking some of our minis and using the mini skeins.
Yeah.
For
That'll be
that.
really beautiful.
Yeah, so maybe afterwards you can help me pick out some cute little flower
Do they have
colors.
leaves too, or just
No, I think
flowers?
it was more just little flowers, like a little grouping of them.
You know,
So.
that is another thing that I'm excited about. I didn't talk about it earlier,
Oh,
but
your mittens.
well, I was going to knit mittens and embroider on the mittens, and I still plan to do that. But I realized I have something at home that's already knitted that I would like to embroider on as my first trial project.
Oh.
So I have a very old, it might have been the second or third thing that I ever knit. So we're talking like 25 or 30 years old.
Yeah.
But it's a really nice yarn from Vermont Spinnery. And it's a triangle shawl with a ruffled edge, but it's just plain stockinette.
Yeah, I've seen you
And
wear
so I think in the point of the shawl, I might try knitting either the fern in that book, embroidery on knits, or there's like 3 wheat.
that. Oh yeah,
things
I
of
remember
wheat.
the
So
wheat.
something like that. If the shawl is dark maroon, so I think I might want a gold, kind of a gold color.
Yeah.
For
One
the
of
fern.
these? No.
2 orange.
2 orange.
No.
Okay.
I need something more this.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
more gold, I think. Goldy yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I am excited about that because now I don't have to knit something in order to be able to try embroidering on knits.
I know. This sweater actually is a long sleeve sweater, but by the time the baby would be wearing it, it'll be in the fall. And I thought, I'm just going to make it short sleeve and get
Yeah.
right to the embroidery.
There you go. I like that.
So,
And it'll be small flowers, so it
Yeah,
won't take too
little
long
flowers.
to embroider.
yeah,
Fun.
I think that would be good. Okay, my next one, you remember all the problems I was having with the vests and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so I went back to the drawing board and I'm doing this is my do-it-yourself yarn management.
You know, I just saw on YouTube, I saw someone say the way to manage your yarn cake is by putting it in a sock. It was like a little footy sock and
Yeah.
1 cake of yarn. And I thought they must have stolen, maybe they were sitting beside you on the plane when you were knitting and trying to manage
And
all your balls of
seeing
yarn.
all my balls of yarn. So,
I
okay.
think that's genius.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to show that.
Okay. So these are old socks, but they're very stretchy. And so
Mhm.
that's why I picked them. And I'm holding alpaca, Surrey silk, the alpaca silk, with the pure merino. And because I had the variegated, I wanted to alternate skeins so that if they were done differently or
One had a little more blue splotches or
right,
something.
that it would be more blended throughout.
Mm-hmm.
So alternating skeins when you have 4
Yes.
skeins
That's a lot to
is a
manage.
lot.
Now,
So I put 2 in one sock and 2 in another, and I tied them together. And this is so silly, but you can put them over your
so if you're knitting on the plane, it can be your your plane pillow
your pillow
as
and
well as
exactly.
managing your yarn. Okay,
It works really
that
well.
might get you some extra looks from the
I know they look kind of funny.
folks. They do.
And when I play Scrabble, so now I'm at the point where it's joined and I'm just doing stockinette in the
Mhm.
round. So when we play Scrabble, which we do every night, I put this on the back of the chair over here,
Nice.
and then I can just knit so freely. It really works great.
Now, I was wondering if you feel like, now having done it, do you feel like it was necessary to alternate skeins? Or do you think because it's variegated, you might not have noticed?
Well, good question, because I started with the alternating skeins on the back. So this is the terrazzo, I think it's how you pronounce it. It's petite knits,
Mhm.
and it's a couple of years older, and it will eventually be like I'll pick up along here,
Mhm.
and it'll be a turtleneck.
Oh, nice.
But it is
like
a
with
vest.
ribbing?
Yes.
Is it a rib? So a ribbed?
So a little bit of a ribbed
Mhm.
turtleneck, and then it'll be a vest. So I'll pick
Mhm.
up along the sides and make a little ribbing
Mm-hmm.
along the
I
sides.
really love the way that Surrey is variegating on the plain yarn. And
yeah.
it's so soft.
It's so soft. It's so fun.
It's gorgeous.
So I started the back side with alternating, and then you have to pick up around the top and then do the shoulder pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, oh, with these small things, I am not going to alternate skeins. And then it looked pretty fine just as it is. So I kind of did not alternate skeins on this side.
Okay.
And I don't think you can tell a
let's
big
fold it
difference.
over.
Yeah, so maybe
this
with the
would not be alternated, but this side was.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't feel like you can either.
I don't think you can. So maybe with this much variegation, there's enough going on that you don't have to alternate skeins.
I really love that pattern, the way the variegation is coming out. It's so pretty.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I dyed it myself. But yeah,
I know it's one
That's
of your
fun.
favorites.
it is. I just love Monet's Garden.
Well, it's this one, right?
Yeah.
It's this colorway,
It's
but on
that
the Surrey
colorway.
silk where the colors really spread out on the fluff.
Yeah. So one experiment thing I thought would be fun to see would be, this is where the alpaca, the Surrey silk is dyed with Monet's Garden.
Mm-hmm.
What if you put a plain Surrey silk with this? How
How different,
different
would it look?
would it look just the same, or would it look
Well, maybe when you're done,
different.
you can knit me a vest that way. Since I'm going to be making you a cowl.
cowl versus vest? I don't know. Maybe I could
Two
make you
cowls?
something. 2 cowls, yeah. Very good. So that's it.
That's beautiful. I love it. I can't wait to
Thanks.
see it.
I'm very excited, and I'm so happy that I'm in the Scrabble zone now. I can just stockinette.
Stockinette.
Yeah.
Right. That's good holiday knitting right there.
Oh, look. This is my beginning of round marker.
Mm-hmm.
Ann Tudor, she's a local person.
Oh, yeah.
She makes these little
That's so cute.
things. I just fell in love with it.
It's a little sheep.
It's a little sheep, and he's lime green.
That's awesome.
So that's my beginning of round marker.
Nice.
It's fun. Every time I get to him, he makes me
And you
smile.
get to think of Anne.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it in my bag.
Okay. We can't wait
So-
to hear about what's in your project bag,
Yeah.
or what you're working on, or what questions
And
you
what
have
questions
for us.
you have for
We'd
us,
love to
too.
answer questions.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the new year.
Have a great end of 2023 and a beautiful start of 2024. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.